So we have a lower model, free end, missing 5, 6, 7 on both sides. I did not give you the prescription, but if you look inside your marking guide, it will say the Rottweiler retentive arms on 3, 4, and 4, 4, and naturally replacing the 6 posterior teeth. So what we need to do is kind of a precursor, because there's these 2 bicuspids. Normally we would kind of cavalierly write the height of contour like we did with our thumb partial. Do you remember we just kind of marked the height of contour arbitrarily? But ideally, what we're going to do, we're not going to do this one for this project, but I'll show you what's coming next year, that we should use a surveyor, which is basically going to mark the height of contour at any given angle. Naturally, set 0 degree or parallel to the plane of occlusion would be the most appropriate starting point. So I just want to show you with the surveyor on the buccal side of the 4 how I would mark the height of contour, as you see. Now, conversely, we don't have a surveyor until the beginning of next year. So, you can take your pencil and you can parallel to the buccal line angle or perpendicular, you can scribe the height of contour. Why is the height of contour important? Because we cannot have the Rottweiler clasp engaging completely below the height of contour. Maybe 70%, 80%, 85%, but definitely not in this shoulder area of the clasp. It's kind of like a no-go zone for the clasp. If I take my red pencil, the clasp should fall. We're going to measure these depths next year, 0.5 millimeters below the height of contour. And you can freehand draw your Rottweiler clasp on here. And as you can see, it doesn't fall below the height of contour. It's right on it here at the shoulder, but it probably doesn't cross till about here, which I would guess that's about 66% or 70% of the retentive arm is below the height of contour, thus retaining the denture. And then on the other side, at the shoulder, it's got to come above the height of contour. Now, one thing we need to talk about as well is there is a height of contour on the distal guide plane. This proximal surface of 3, 4, and 4, 4. The wire cannot go below that line and cannot touch the tooth below that line. If it does, the denture will not go in and it won't come out. It must be above the line or slightly off the tooth. If you're going to be below the line, it's got to be off the tooth. So, they're kind of like a surveying 101. Just to reiterate what I'm talking about, maybe big illustration, that we've got the buccal of the bicuspid, then you've got your height of contour, and then we're going to maintain below the height of contour for about 60, 70, 80% below the height of contour. And there is my Rottweiler stainless steel clasp. If the wire is a gold wire, you could engage lower. If it's a titanium wire, which we'll talk about next year, possibly lower. But this is a stainless steel Rottweiler clasp. This would be about right. We're going to measure this depth below starting September. But for now, I just need you to build and consolidate your dental technology skills in order to process this case. It's a processing. Because in full dentures, you're processing the dentures, correct? And you're processing full dentures. And you're holding things down in the bottom half of the flask, and you're drawing things off in the top part of the flask. Can we agree on those two terms? And what are you holding down in the bottom? When you boil out, there's two halves. What are you holding down? What's in the bottom part of the flask when you boil out? Maybe that's a better question. The model. So we're holding the model down, and the teeth are in the other half, correct? So we're drawing, if you want to use the term drawing, the other teeth off. Well, in partial dentures, you can hold and draw many things. Clasps, strengtheners, teeth, natural teeth. artificial teeth, prosthetic teeth. So we need to decide what we're going to do, and this is why this is this first exercise. So we'll start with the wire bending. We'll use 0.9. And what you need for this exercise is maybe a rubber wheel and a rubber point afterwards, or you can do it beforehand, to kind of polish the tip, because it's got a burr on it or a spur from the wire cutters. It's got a sharp end to it, so we need to kind of polish the end. Let me see if I can turn the lights down a little lower so there's better contrast at the front here. That'd be a no if they're staying on. And we still need to practice our wire bending skills. And if you can't bend the clasp on your red line, then you can add the red line after you bend the clasp.